Lyons has been the chairman of the Center's Military Committee for 5 or 6 years now, I think it is, and I never cease to be amazed at his industry, his energy, his clarity of thought, and particularly how he understands, in part on the basis of hard experience, the nature of this challenge we face today and the kinds of things laid out with his help in this strategy that need to be undertaken to address it. I've asked him to sort of be the cleanup batter for this set of presentations. I appreciate everyone's brevity, and hopefully that will give us some time for questions before we have to. But I did want to just say that he has been there, truly, going toe-to-toe with these jihadists way back from the beginning of this phase of the war for the free world, and I've asked him to illuminate some of that for us as well. Admiral Lyons, welcome, sir. Thank you for being here.
Okay, Frank, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for by our own administration. The transformation of America has been in the full swing ever since 2008. President Obama's no-show in Paris was an embarrassment for all Americans. But it also was a signal to the Islamic jihadis. It's one of many signals he's sent over the years while he's in office. Now, there's no question, we got a hell of a job ahead of us. With the Muslim Brotherhood penetration in every one of our national security agencies, including all our intelligence agencies, and as been reported by some, our lead intelligence agency headed by a Muslim convert, this is not going to be an easy task. Now, we've had many opportunities over the years to change the course of history. And as Frank had mentioned, starting with Jimmy Carter, when the Iranians took over our embassy. We could have cut off Islamic fundamentalism on the knees, but we did not act. He rejected what could have been a very dramatic action with minimum involvement, and it would have been dead. We've had other opportunities, such as the Marine barracks bombing. Everybody wondered why we never responded. You know, I won't go into all those details in the interest of brevity, and Frank's shaking his head. He's getting ready to give me the hook. But I have to tell you, we could have changed the course of history then. It became Osama bin Laden's rallying cry. So here we are today. Political correctness has neutralized all our military leadership. You know, I don't know how many of you saw Les Gelb's article yesterday. Any of you see it? He called for the entire firing of the entire executive branch of government. Unheard of, including Valerie Jarrett. Because he left one person out. The one man who really determines the policy. Now we have a new Congress. They were elected to stop the transformation of America, not to see how they could work with the president. This is pure nonsense. You know, we've been saying, people describe the threat. The threat is Islam. Let's make no mistake with it. There's no such thing as radical Islam, because I'd like somebody to give me a definition of moderate Islam. There ain't any. So, and I think it was Erdogan of Turkey who said it best. Islam is Islam. There are no modifiers. We've looked for a leader to come stand up and try to modify Islam. And it was previously mentioned here, on New Year's Day, President al-Sisi, standing before all the leading Sunni clerics, called for a reformation of Islam. Monumental. He then went to celebrate Christmas Mass at a Coptic church and pledged to rebuild all the churches. Clearly, he better bring his insurance policies up to date. But this is momentum. And the administration didn't even give it the tip of the hat. Absolutely no acknowledgement. So it certainly tells you where their sympathies lie. It is up to this Congress. They've been given the mantle. We are giving them the game plan on how to proceed and prevent the transformation of this great country. Thanks very much.
Back.
Mario Costa, ABIM News Agency. Most of the speakers spoke about political correctness as the problem. I know it's a very, very, very broad question, but is there anything that can be done about political correctness?
We get to vote every 4 years. That's helpful.
That's a political corrective.
Well, yeah, the one thing you can do, you can make military leadership live up to their oath of office. That's a good first step. And of course, facing this we didn't really touch on it, but the unilateral disarmament of our military just didn't happen by chance. The economic meltdown that Kevin talked about, you know, really was the perfect storm for Obama to implement the unilateral disarmament of our military. And that's what's been going on. All this faculty lounge crap about how we're going to handle future disputes through negotiations, they forgot one important element. The only thing that makes diplomatic negotiations work is a strong military, because they know if they don't conform, we're going to hammer them. Right now, we've been put on a defensive of that. All of that has to be turned around by this Congress. The social engineering that has gone on with our military forces, undercutting morale and the fundamental will to win, this has to change. And the
you better know that you say to them, you go to their office, you call their office, and you say, Steve Israel, Chuck Schumer, Nita Lowey, all of you, you will stand up for my rights and my children's rights to live, and you will tell your colleagues to join you in killing this deal. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give a special welcome to a man who made a great effort to be with us. He was a career Navy man for nearly 4 decades. He's the former Commander-in-Chief of the United States Pacific Fleet, the largest military command on the face of the earth, Admiral James Ace Lyons.
Well, thank you very much. I got to say,
by your presence here tonight, you said it all. You understand. Houston, we have a problem. I have to tell you, never in my lifetime did I believe I would witness this great country of ours being taken down and withdrawn from our world leadership by our own administration. Unbelievable. And when it comes to Iran, I've been chasing those guys for over 35 years. I had the planes loaded many times. I was going to wipe out the Islamic Amal, the Hezbollah, and at times I thought we could take down the whole Khomeini regime. But as you know, we had many opportunities to change the course of history when it comes to Iran. But it didn't matter whether it was a Republican or Democratic administration, they all failed. And they failed because we were sabotaged from within. And this agreement is another example of sabotage within. It is a total sellout. Of course, that doesn't bother the likes of Secretary Kerry, because this is the second time he's sold out his country. And for President Obama, this is his Neville Chamberlain peace on our time moment. Ridiculous. Now, we don't have an agreement. What we have are terms of surrender. We guarantee Iran will have a nuclear weapon capability, and just as important, we guarantee they will have the most modern conventional weapons which could jeopardize our position in the Persian Gulf. Now, I've always said these negotiations were a sham. And I want to take you back to when President Obama was candidate Obama in the summer of 2008. And according to Michael Ledeen, he opened up a secret communication channel to the evil Khomeini regime. And that secret channel was Ambassador William G. Miller, who spoke fluent Farsi and served in our embassy there. And the message was, don't sign an agreement with the Bush administration. Wait till I'm president. You will get a much better deal. Well, he certainly proved that. He went on to tell him, you will like my policies. I am your friend. Unbelievable. Here's a country that's been at war with the United States for over 35 years, the world's leading sponsor of state-sponsored terrorism. They've caused the loss of lives of thousands of Americans. And for you New Yorkers, you never should forget that it was Iran who provided the key material and training support to the 9/11 hijackers. Without that support, that terrorist attack couldn't have been carried out, and 3,000 innocent Americans who were doing nothing more than going to work would be alive today. Unbelievable. Now, I've got to touch a little bit on the concessions. You all know about the concessions, and they all pale in comparison to one key concession, which is sacred, and goes to the heart and soul of every American. This traitorous group traded our national honor. Yes, this group conceded America's honor. It cannot be allowed to stand. They humiliate